Okay, we're recording. It's April 3rd. Good morning to everyone. This is a tutorial on BSSM Equip. We are very excited. Welcome everybody, by the way. We just launched on Friday, so you should have gotten that email, and we are very excited. So if you see me pausing, I'm moving the little window around to get it out of my way, so sorry about that. Hang on just a second. All right. All right, I think it'll be out of my way over there. Okay, so here we go. We are recording, right? Okay, so this is Equip, and I want to mention ahead of time that Equip is primarily designed to help your schools be equipped with more content and more availability for your students to build out your schools the best that you can. And I'll show you some different features to help with that. It is not only curriculum, but that's the heart of it. Okay? All right, so actually I'm going to shrink this. Maybe. Okay. All right. So if you have a question, by the way, just say, I have a question, this is, and say your name so we all know who's talking. All right. So this is the front of Equip. Okay, that was fun. I'm going to just go through the tour. By the way, this tour that I'm going to go through is actually available as a class. When you click this Get Started, it shows you a video of this in more detail that I'm going to go in as well. Okay, so the first thing is this button gets us back to the home page, which is where we're at right now. And then there's a menu over here with different things that I'll be showing you. There's a search bar up here that you can search for any course. I can type in a course name or an author, and see, it comes up, and you can just click right into the course right there. Here's a notification area if we send you messages. And then some of you joined a little bit late, so I'll just go over this again. Everybody for Equip for the free trial for April is set up with package 3. So package 1 is just the learning courses, which I'll show you. Package 2 is you're signed up as a teacher, so you get access to all the BSSM courses plus the teacher stuff, the leadership training, but you're not able to create students. And package 3 is those two, plus you're able to create courses and student accounts. Okay, so everyone is set up with package 3, just to give you an idea of what we have in the system. This menu is the admin menu when you're a teacher, and that shows you different things, and I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, going across the middle here, this Get Started. Again, that's a video that shows you all of the things probably that I'm going to go over here and even more in a little bit in depth. There's another button here for a learning plan, which I'll talk about what that is in just a minute, but that has various tutorials that go into depth more for especially teachers on how to create courses and things like that. I do want to spend just a second on this What's New. That opens a page. And if we scroll down, so you can see this list, so you can pop into this one every once in a while, and we'll also put a note in, up on the front page that says to pop in when we put new things up. But it says all the previously recorded BSSM first year courses are available. Second years are going to be available probably within about a month or so. We're still working on the summaries for those, but those will come up probably by the end, well, hopefully by the end of the free trial.
Wow.
Go ahead.
I said, that's great.
Yeah. So to understand really the value of this thing, you have all of the first year videos, all of the second year videos, school leadership training, which includes a lot of the Converge information, the different years of those, as well as chats that Janelle does, all with course material with them. So that's coming. That's already in there. And then here's brand new. We actually filmed this past summer. These are in addition to the BSSM courses. We heard from various schools that you wanted more information on healing and prophetic, so we have lots of healing classes taught by our directors of healing. Prophetic Culture by Ben Armstrong, there's different courses in there. And then these great Bible courses by one of my favorite teachers, Revival Apologetics. He talks a lot about things with the Holy Spirit and where it actually is in the Bible for those people that want to hear about that. So all of these different topics in Revival Apologetics. I don't know if you can see my mouse moving around. Let me fix that. Okay, is that a little better? All right, anyway, and then there's a whole series of women in ministry, one of my favorite courses where he just goes through how Jesus really emphasized women in the ministry, and that kind of defeats that myth. And then our third year director has a course on loving the Word and how to really get motivated to love the Bible. Okay, and then we have courses coming, as I mentioned, second year courses will be coming very shortly. We will also be posting up the first year courses in a different format that has the words across the bottom escapes me at the moment. Anyway, captions, right? Closed captions. It has captions with Spanish, and we will be working in the future to build out more languages, by the way.
Oh.
In addition, she's looking to add these other courses in the next few months: prophecy, supernatural living, relationships, and then some additional BSSM courses are coming. So that's on the schedule. We don't post them unless we already have scheduled in the next few months. So those are definitely coming. All right, let me go back to this. Okay. Then the help button, and that goes to a form where you can send us a note if you're having trouble with the system. Okay, going across the top here, we have two, in this little module, we have two indicators. These are showing you the last courses you were in. So I'm signed on right now as a sample person with package 3. So this shows me the last course that I was in, and if I had started or completed it, it would change the percentage there, but I could click right here to get back in the course that I was in. And then it shows a learning plan and how far I'm in that, and also 0. And let me show you a little bit about what learning plans are. So here, we're going to talk just a minute about learning plans. So if I click here, yes. So these are the learning plans are groups of courses, and I can prioritize when I create the learning plan what order they have to run those in. So these are different videos, and they're in a specific order, and I programmed it so that you can't go to the number 5. You have to start one and do them in order. And the reason I'm telling these specific things about learning plans is, as a teacher, you can create learning plans. You can create courses, learning plans, and different things. A lot of the different things that you'll see on the system here. Okay, so then the heart of the system are the courses. So as you can see, when you log in, down the left-hand side over here, there. So these are all different actually categories of courses, and then these are the specific courses. So Kingdom Culture is another category, leadership, relationships. Here's the school leader training section with its different courses, supernatural living, and on each section you can break it out. You can see there's only about 5 listed in each section, and you can break it out and show the whole group if you click there. And then the other thing that's really kind of fun when you're looking for courses or looking for information on how to set up your school. So I know that all of the schools have different needs and different things that they'd like to teach on and use the curriculum, so we have a way to find those kind of things. First of all, under school leader training, these are actually subcategories. So if I wanted to see all of the information about school culture, I would just click on that. And then actually what happens is the results show down beneath. It would show that here's the school leader training group, and here are the culture courses. So those are right there. So then if I wanted to see all the categories inside of the curriculum, we see the major categories that we have for the curriculum. There's Bible, identity, intimacy, kingdom culture, leadership, relationships, and supernatural living. And I can go into each one of these, and then there's even subcategories. So when you're really building out your curriculum and planning it for the year, if you had particular things that you'd like to teach on, this should help you dial those kinds of things in. So all of these categories are set up. So I could click on, let's see, renewing the mind. If I go down here, it would show me this is the identity section, and it would show me the different courses that are actually rolled up that are the renewing the mind courses. So you could go into there. Okay, so let's go ahead and go into a course. How about embracing growth? So you just click there. The other way to get in is that's the search bar at the top, as we mentioned. So over here, we see the whole kind of player area where a video or a document would show up. Let's click on that. And there's Chris in his wonderful outfits. Okay, so you could watch that whole course. We go to the end. There's also on each course, first of all, you can change the viewer. You can make it full screen if you like and watch it by clicking that button. And in each course that we've provided, we have review questions and activation kind of information. So let's go and I'll show you what that looks like. These are actually, in the system, we created them as tests. So, and it doesn't, I mean, we called it review questions. So it's not really a test, but we made it in that format. So I'll show you a little bit about that. So beginning the test, and you can see why is it acceptable and even necessary that you fail. And the student would answer here. And as a teacher and an instructor for this course, which I'll show you how to do that, you could actually go back in after they've answered it and see their results. And you can actually mark them and give feedback. Okay, so we're going to leave the test. And activation is the same thing. It's set up as a test. Write down 2 areas in which you're going to take more risk. That's for everybody. Okay, and then we'll leave the test. And then on each course that has been created by our group, there's a course description and a file repository. Right here are the summary notes for the course. So you click there, it would open up a PDF and you download it and you could see those, or you could print them out for your students, whichever you'd like. So we'll go back to the home page. And then something that was really important, kind of Chris's vision, is he didn't really want this to be purely a library of courses. I mean, it is that, but it's much more. Part of the thing that we want to help is actually building more of a community around this information. Really, so let me go back to my file view here, thumbnails. Okay, I think I can see most of you. So raise your hand if you were at any of the Converges the last couple of years. Okay, a few of you. All right, so the fun part, the Converge conference is where the teachers get together and we do training and have guest speakers, but also you can talk to each other. And I think that's really powerful. I think one teacher from a school somewhere talking to another teacher in a school trying to do the same things, they can really, really leap forward. So one of the things we wanted to build into the system are these communities. So this one, these communities that we can build are available. So this one can only be seen by the teachers. The students would not see these. You can post articles about different things that you think are interesting, and then people can read those. Different teachers can read those, or you could post just make a document and put it in there about something that you really notice is fun and really works. Let's say for evangelism or healing, or you could put a question in there and ask other teachers around the world. So we actually have over 100 schools signed up for the system. So if you can imagine, this is kind of like a whole Converge conference anytime you want. It's really powerful. This is one of the additional dimensions to the system that we've programmed in. This one, again, any teacher can post here, and only teachers can see it. The next one is a testimony community, and this is a fun one. So we've already started posting testimonies in there, and the schools that we've been testing with in the last month have been posting them in there. So the students can post in there as well. This is a great way to see global testimonies and be excited about what's going on. Then my account is actually created right here, and I'm in the school called Sample School. So here we actually have one more community, and this one is private to the group that is the sample community, the sample SSM. So in this one, only that group can see it. I have it set up so that it is both students and teachers in the sample school can post things. You can, I'm actually, as administrator, the only one that can change these settings and set them up, but you can tell me, and if you wanted a different one set up that's just for the leaders in that community that you guys can share things privately, you can do that. Or if you want it so the students can post things, but you have to actually approve the post before they go in, you can do that sort of a thing. So that's another dimension. And then there's one more thing I want to show you, and that is question and answer. So this community learning is that same thing that we just talked about. And the whole idea, and this is kind of the forefront of webinar technology. TED Talk has this sort of a thing. So what happens is, like that teaching community, you go and you post something and you guys are on your own learning from each other, and you don't, it's not required that we're in the middle of it. So you just start your own community and you're learning from each other and giving and exchanging. It's really good. Anyway, question and answer. So on each of the communities, and then also just generally questions, students and teachers can post questions, and then when you do that, you can say where it's going. You can see more of that in the tutorial, but you can post it and you have access. So a student could post a question to a teacher in the school. And so let's say you only have school once a week, and this is, so the student could do, and it's kind of like a forum, so they could post a question and then you could answer it, and then all of the students can see what the question and answer is in case they all have that question. That is also true. There's these are tied to communities. So when you ask a question, you say, what community are you asking it about? Like you can ask about a testimony, and you click that and it goes to who has been designated as the leader of the testimony community, and that happens to be us. So, and then there's, for the teacher community, that's also us. So you can actually ask questions of Bethel leaders as well. So that's for students and teachers. You have a question maybe about a particular thing in healing or prophetic or whatever, you post the question in here, it comes to us. We either answer it or we get a hold of another leader and we take care of it. So this is another dimension. All right, let me bring us back to, I'm gonna stop sharing for a moment. All right, so I can see everybody again. Oh, actually, let me do a little bit more. Everybody's doing okay?
Yep.
All right. Okay, and then the few things I want to show you really fast, because I do want to leave time for question and answer. So here's how you would go in. You see all of these. So here's how you create a new account. You would go in there and set that up. You could go into here and create a new course. I do want to show this just a little bit. So we'll say call sample. We click our cool little icon. So I've just created a course. And I'm going to add training material. So now I can go in here. I could add a video. I could put a file in there. I can make a PowerPoint presentation all in that area. It would show up all in that area that you saw before that says video. I can put just an HTML page or a link to something. I can do a survey or a test, and the test has many different formats. And then you make it available. And the way that you make it available, so I could go back here, and I would say enroll the users. So the thing, so this view that you see where I go back here to the front, I'll just show you quick. So this is a teacher view. You can see all the courses. What happens on the student view is they don't see any courses until you enroll them in it. So I can control when I do that. Okay, so I'm going to find my users. So I've created these. We'll take this sample one guy. So here's all the list of courses. There are some in here that I've created, and then the whole list of ones that are the BSSM ones as well. So you can actually use those and create your own tests with them. So let's say I chose this one. So what I'm doing is that person that I said was sample person, I just enrolled this person in that course. And then I can also say from a certain date to a certain date. So in theory, during the summer, you could set up the whole year's worth of courses that can appear and then actually disappear for the students in certain date ranges. You can set up the whole year. So schedule all the different courses. They could take them online during those periods, and when it says not active, it would actually go away, so it would keep them focused. Or you could just say not, and maybe during the year you're setting up one, and you're going to do it manually for a few weeks, or leave it open to them to see anytime. You can do that as well. All right, did I miss anything else? No. All right, now we'll go back. Okay, as politely as we can. If there are any questions, go ahead.
I had a question. This is John. Can you set up different courses for different students? Like either you have different tracks, or let's say you want to assign courses for students, but you have staff that you want to have other courses.
Yeah, when I go in, oh, you can't see when I do that. Let me do that again. All right, I'm going to stay on this share screen unless we have to go out so I can show you these things. So when I did that, and I said, take sample 2. So I can click, and actually, you can click all of them. Right, so let's say these are all the ones in my particular school.
Okay.
And I can say next, and I can enroll them in one or many courses all at once. So I would just click any of these and then go and do that, and then set up the schedule as well. Or, no, I can't hit my previous button here. There. Or I can do one at a time. or however I need to. So you could set up multiple courses however you want to do that. In groups of, you can do one at a time. You can do whole courses. You could set up learning plans also that have to go in a particular order, however you want to do that. So absolutely, yes.
Okay, kind of a follow-up question, then I'll be quiet and let other people talk. But let's say that you had 2 or 3 staff that are on. Would they take up some of the slots of students? Because I know that I'm going to go with the one that has 25 slots available for students, but if I have teachers set up, would that take some of the slots?
So all the packages from just the learning training to the teacher alone and the package 3, which is the student with teachers, actually come with 3 available slots for teachers, and then the number of however many students you want to create.
Okay, thanks, David.
Yeah. Now the way that works, by the way, just for future. One thing I did want to mention. The first thing is, if you guys are working on this during the month, whatever you work on. So first of all, the way it's going to work is during the month, you'll have complete access, do whatever you want. We'll support you in any way you can. And we're going to have more of these sessions as well. Oops, just a second. So you can have more of these sessions, and the accounts that you have right now expire at the end of April, but assuming you go in and pay, nothing changes. All the stuff that you set up, even if you don't have access for a while and you pay in a few weeks or something like that, when you come back, everything that you have is still set up. So go ahead and create whatever you want to.
Okay.
Yeah. So tell me your original question. So I forgot the original question. What were you saying? Oh, okay. Does anyone else have another question?
I do. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
In regard to his question, when you were adding curriculum to each of the users, when you start adding what they can access, does it bring up the whole list of everything?
Yes.
Okay.
So users, enroll. Okay. So here's my group that I've created for sample.
Okay.
These are my students that I've already created their accounts.
Right.
Here, this list right here, I could say, right? So here's Supernatural Ways of Royalty with Chris. All of the BSSM classes are in here. All the ones you create, you would be able to see in here as well. The ones that other schools create, you would not be able to see.
Right.
Okay. I mean, if you asked me, I could share them out, but.
I guess what I was saying, it doesn't bring up the whole list. You just have to know what you're looking for to add to the list.
Yeah, the whole list is in there, but there's over 170 courses, and there will be over 300 by the end of April. So
gotcha.
They are in here, but you do need to find them. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, other questions?
I have one.
And
Go ahead.
in reference to what she was just saying, you will have them grouped by, say, section 1, section 2, section 3, correct? Not just dumped all in there?
Well, up in the front, so I'm back on the home page here. I don't know if you can, let me turn this back on. Okay, I'm back on the home page here, and this, you can find a course, the actual course, and play it by doing these or by searching at the top. When you go to that list of courses that says, to join it with a student, it doesn't have all of these things. You have to select them. Now, there is another way, actually. Let me show you something here. When you go to courses, see, now here's the full list again, but you see much more. Like, for example, the course code and the course name. The course code will give you hints to, let me just do like the next page here. Like this BSSM, And that's a first year course, and there's some of the new ones. That's Chris Gore. So it'll give you a little bit, or you can even search up here and say healing, right? And all of these come up. So I hit search here, and the results are down here. Those are all the ones that have healing in the name, and then I could enroll them that way as well. So the one that I showed you with the user, that's the way to enroll multiple users, multiple courses. This way, I could select, I could go into this one. And actually, I do want to show you something else. You can create a group of people. So you can have, maybe for your school, you might have the group of students and a group that is the leaders. And instead of worrying about each individual one, you can just go to your group and say, I want to enroll my whole group, so you don't have to check each one all the time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, and then the users, these are, again, I only see the ones that I set up, so you don't see the whole list of users.
So you could set it up group first year, group second year?
Absolutely.
That's good.
Yes.
That's all.
Yeah, makes it way easier when you're setting up, especially if you have a larger school.
Branches if you have multiple campuses.
Yeah. So the whole idea, the biggest advantage I feel, I just like talking with people here. The biggest advantage I feel is you're really expanding your course capabilities to deliver to your students. You could still, so the capability of the DVDs before was you could show them in class and then discuss them, right? Well, you can still do that. You just run the equip and you run the play during class. So you still have that capability, but you much greater broaden the scope by, you can assign, oh, by the way, I didn't show you, but you can create your own course and just put homework items in there.
Mm.
So you could say this course, like let's say I called it April homework, right? And you could have put all the tests or assignments or whatever you wanted them to do in that thing and make that course available in April, and then they had to do all of that, and then you could go in online and correct it when you wanted to. That's one of the capabilities.
And can they chat with you? Like, can they send you questions and stuff? Okay.
Yes, so the community that's set up just for your school is exactly set up for that. So one of the big advantages of the community is it's not Facebook. It's not going to go out to the world. It's private. We're not going to worry about that whole stuff, right? So when they post something in the question and answer or in your community just for your school, it goes to you guys and you can answer that offline. And the powerful thing about that is it's probably a question that a lot of the students are asking. So when you post an answer, they can all see it. And we really want to develop those communities. I think the teacher community especially is going to be a very powerful one among all of y'all, right? Because there's no way to know all the things that you guys encounter or you need, but you can get access to each other's information. I think that's powerful. And then,
Hey, Dave.
Yes, go ahead.
I did have one question. So during this trial period that we're on, can we create like a small mock course just for our leaders?
Create anything you want. Yes.
Okay, cool. So we can get them to kind of like beta test it for us and get us, to customize it for our sessions?
Yeah.
Our section. Okay, cool.
So your course can be a video, it can be a file, it can have, you can, if you upload a video or link to YouTube or something, alongside of that, like you saw with our courses, you can put tests with it that they can take. All our courses, the ones that you see with review and activation, those are optional. You can make courses that when they have the materials next to them like that it's actually required that they have to take the test to complete the course. You can see, I do want to show you this. This is kind of neat. There's reporting that you have. So I'm going to go into this. Oh, can you see it? Did I forget to share it?
Yeah, yeah. We still just see the faces.
Sorry.
There we go.
Okay, so let me go back into that since that was just me. Okay, so I went into the admin area, and then here's reports. Here's the groups if you want to create those, by the way. So here's reports. And if you go down here, this is my favorite one. This is a new one. This is called Branches Dashboard. So you could see your particular branch. Here, I actually have all of them. So when I click down on that, it would actually show. So I'll go one more.
Explain what branch is.
Branches are groups of people. So we have a kind of an organization chart of branches. Like one branch is actually a school, and then we have branches in different things. But what I did there, let me start again. So I show you what I did. So courses are grouped into categories, and users or students are grouped into branches. So when I go to the branch dashboard, when I start here, this is showing me the whole system. So we have lots of courses going on, but when I drill down, this is the fun part. So I drill down one more, and it shows me my school.
Okay.
Right? So in my school, in sample school, I have this many courses enrolled, and there are 4 completed, and I can keep going down farther. So let's show the in progress maybe. So I can now see each student, and here's what they've scored on their tests. Here's the time that they've been in the system. There's a particular course that they're using and how far they've gotten on it and when they started it. All different kinds of reports. You can just drill down and get them online right there.
Good grief.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to stop share again.
Could you explain what the learning plans are?
Sure. I'll go back in. Okay, so for example, so when you go into a course, right, we'll go into First Kings. I think Bernie teaches this one, which is just amazing. Yes. Okay, so in our terminology, all of these things are a course in the system. And by the way, when you create a course, you can create these widgets down below that are different things that you can see in the tutorial how to do that. But you manufacture your own course, and that's if you want to think of a course, it's like one topic, right? But if I go in to a learning plan, that's this guy. So instead of one course, you can kind of think of these as there's one theme. For example, so we set up this one as a sample learning plan, and this is about healing. So there are 5 healing courses, and I've set it up so you have to go through in order which one. You don't have to do that, but you can think of learning plans as kind of a grouping to have a theme of courses. So you might have a theme of topical, like healing or prophetic, or you might have a theme that is, first semester. Whatever
So we can set those up as a plan.
Yes. So you would go in here, and here it says learning plans. And you would go and you want to create a new one, and you would just go through and do all that. And when you get to the part where I'm not going to go through it, but you select which courses you want to put in there, and then you adjust what order you want them to be found in, prerequisites or not.
Okay.
And then those would show up for the students, and they would have to follow along whichever way you had that set. Yes.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Other questions?
I had a question.
Yes.
You talked about uploading videos when you're, setting up your own plans. Can you upload from Bethel TV, like if there's a new sermon that you want to?
So, if you can download it from Bethel TV,
then you can upload it.
Then you can upload it. Okay. If it doesn't let you, like they've been changing the Bethel TV player lately.
Yes.
I'm not up on exactly what's going on there, but if you can download an actual video, so probably MP4 format it would be, then you would upload it to your course, and of course you'd have it available.
Okay.
Yes.
So anything on our computer then that we have. We could. That's cool.
Yes. Now, let me talk, speaking of that idea, by the way, let me talk a little bit about Zoom. I really love, this is expanding kind of the third dimension for your school.
Yes.
So first of all, like I'm recording this whole thing right now. So I'm actually going to be able to upload this as a course. So you could do the same thing. You could have in your classroom, not even video, conferencing with anyone, and just use Zoom, record the course, and maybe students that weren't able to make it, or if you wanted to teach it this way next year, you have your course recorded. In addition, and I think this is really powerful too, in addition, you can have guest speakers. So you could have a webinar rather than having them travel all over the world. You could ask a guest speaker, could you give us half an hour of prophetic training or something and schedule them during your class time or even whatever. Put them on a Zoom meeting, record it, and then you have that forever too as one of your courses if you'd like for future years.
Awesome.
Zoom is, I think that the additional dimension of this, one of the things that, well, we're recording, so I'll just say I have some ideas that I wanted to run by Janelle. She's actually leaving tomorrow, tomorrow for a mission trip, so I won't be able to talk to her. So I won't tell you what I'm going to talk to her about, but I really love this idea of especially you guys getting together occasionally online and really discussing. So what kind of questions do you have? What kinds of breakthroughs are you seeing? Those kinds of things. We can have group meetings like that. It's really powerful. And with package 3, you get the pro version, again, where you can have 100 at once if you wanted to. Now, no one's going to do that, but you could. And it's not like a FaceTime chat. This is, I can interact with all of you and talk back and forth. You can also see the quality of it. All of you, I think, probably have pretty good internet connections, but really you're not seeing any problems talking to each other. Oh, there is a different thing I want to just show you too that's really cool. So I have 1, 2, 3, so there's 8 of you, right? All right, so watch this. I can do this. I can create these breakout rooms. So I'm gonna put you guys in a breakout room that's a private room together, and in just a minute I'm gonna bring you back. Okay, so I won't be able to talk to you when you do that. All right, you ready? Just say hi to each other when I do this.
Hi.
All right, hang on.
I know which one.
No, let's
Guess
see.
whoever talks pops up.
Okay, open all rooms.
Open to join. Okay.
Hit join. Mhm.
Okay. All right. I'm back.
Okay, hang on. Everybody else is coming back. I have to find out how to kill it right away rather than it tells me now I have 30 more seconds.
So is this how you give somebody a timeout?
Well, it could be, but that's not how you should use it.
Go to your room.
Yes, that's right. I'll send you to your room. They should be coming back any second here. Here they come.
We'll pick that up.
All right, everybody's back.
Yay.
We were
All
having
right.
a good conversation.
All right, see, but the part of the point of this, and everybody's having fun, but part of the point of this is you could have, if your meeting is only once a week because everybody is so busy and logistically and getting around the city and all those kinds of things, you could actually have these kinds of meetings maybe a different time of week. Or like in BSSM, we have smaller groups. right? So maybe one of your student leaders could have a Zoom meeting remotely like this, maybe for half an hour with his smaller team during the week, and they don't have to all come together. So the power of this thing, and then let's say I had 30 people in this meeting right here, but you wanted to focus on a particular topic, and you did breakout rooms, and you make them smaller rooms, and the strength in the smaller rooms that people are much more comfortable talking to each other. So you can break that out. But I think, you know, if you have just the element of all of the amazing content, the BSSM content, you add to that the layer of the communities that we're trying to build on there. And then you add this Zoom tool. I think it's extremely powerful. It's like all different dimensions for your school. And I also believe the biggest value is in that package 3, because let's say you have 25 students. Well, instead of paying for one package of one teacher to get all of the training material and subscribing to that, let's say it's the $99 package, you might be signing up for 200 something a month, but you can spread it out among all the students and say, like, charge them $5 or $6 a piece or $10 or whatever it is to cover it, so that you kind of amortize the cost of the thing. So we really, really believe the benefit is to building the whole school. You administer your own school. You don't have to go through us. There's power to that. And we'll be adding new classes all the time. We'll be surveying you guys and talking with you directly to find out what new material or information you like. Janelle's going to be doing monthly chats. She does right now leadership chats every month, but they're the FaceTime type. Well, don't tell her, but we're going to try to lean her toward these Zoom chats, because these are the people in the system, and you can really have interactive. I mean, I would pay a lot to have, when I talk to leaders like Chris Valentin or Ben Armstrong, I tell them, listen, your courses are amazing, but the most valuable time in my BSSM career was if I could have a one-on-one conversation with you.
Wow.
Right? So we're going to bring these leaders. And then also, I think there's a lot of strength in all of you have specialties and have you guys be a leader in some meetings occasionally too. I just think this is so powerful. We're reaching out to you. We're providing all of this content. You have access to ask Bethel leaders questions directly in these types of meetings, and then also indirectly in the question and answer area. The whole thing has multiple dimensions. I'm really excited. I really believe, other than the strength that I can see in the physical BSSM here, and just how it's amazing, you know, thousands of students from all over the world getting together to really advance the kingdom. Well, if we expand out, this community among all the teachers is really the front lines. So us lending you guys support, and plus being able to communicate back and forth directly and really building up our community together, very powerful.
So I have a question.
Yes, sir.
From Orlando. A couple of things. You mentioned, I guess just throughout as you was talking, you said if we're meeting one night. So is there a particular schedule that you've seen with all of the schools that, because I'm actually looking at just starting one. So in terms of how many nights and all of that, I'm still trying to figure that out in my mind, because I do, and as I was sharing with my a small group that you put us in, I'm a part of Global Awakening. So, you know, cool. I do a satellite school, but this works better, and I know Bill and all that good stuff. But the thing is scheduling. I know people from all around. And I'm like, how can I make this work? Maybe meeting once a week, and then the second week doing this, you know, the video or even Zoom. So again, if there's something that you found that works, can you share that?
So my expertise is with BSSM here. So I know how to meet and build every day. Janelle knows a lot about how to start these schools, and she's available like that. But also, I want to, you know, I have another idea about your particular situation that I'm going to approach with Janelle, so I won't talk about that too much. But that all that school leader training talks about how to set up a school, what, when to do that, your finances, all those kinds of things. Plus you'll be able to talk to Janelle. To your question directly, it's up to you. I think one of the things that we've found talking with all the school leaders around the world, in addition to our own experiences, you can have virtual meetings like this, but it's no substitute for the physical contact of having the community together.
That's right.
So I've actually talked to, during Converge this year, there was a guy from Princeton who runs virtual schools. He has one in Hong Kong and somewhere else. And he said, the ideal thing is smaller is better. And then the other best practice is you can have maybe 3 or 4 virtual a month, but you want one time at least where there is a physical connection. And the more of those, the better.
Gotcha.
But the fun part is if you only had budget or space or, somewhere like in a huge city, it's hard to get everybody together. They have to commute for a while. Maybe you do 2 a month that are physical and you're together, but because now you can stream the courses online, you can have them review the videos ahead of time and just have more in-depth discussion during your time together and really community building and activation. It's not ever a waste of time to watch a video during your class time, but it's a very valuable, precious time. And we're trying to expand so you can use the other time for other things. So I hope that answers that question a little bit.
Thank you.
Yeah. I just want to honor everybody's time. We're at an hour. I can keep going, but if anybody needs to drop off, that's absolutely no problem.
Well, David, I did have a quick question about how to set up the teachers, because I've already gone in and set up students and practice with that, just messing around with it. But how do you set up somebody and designate them as a teacher?
So they have all the capabilities like this. The way you have to do that is let me know. The easiest way is set them up as a student and then send me their email address. There's the help button on the system. If you put it in there, it'll get to me.
Okay.
So anything like that. But absolutely, you guys can't set up those permissions. I have to do it, but I'll set them up exactly like you see now.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I have another question about that. You limit it to 3 teachers, and we have more than 3 teachers. So what's your suggestion for them getting to at least see the videos or have access?
You just have to trade a teacher to another school. That's all. No, Janelle isn't on board on the meeting right here. I don't really know the answer to that. It's up to her on a case-by-case basis. But understand also, the teacher privileges are so they can create student accounts and courses. If you have a teacher that's teaching but doesn't need to do those particular things, just create a student account for them.
That's what I was thinking. Set them up as a student. Okay.
Absolutely, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in reference to that question, can we manage that from our level as to how many they, because like I don't want a leader saying, oh yeah, you can take this, and they really haven't, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody could do that, just not meaning, just be nice, and they haven't paid, you know what I'm saying? So how do you handle that?
That's a good question.
Well, the fun thing for us is we are decentralizing that to you guys. So, so if you create an account, it's against one of your accounts, and you can manage that whole fun issue.
Okay.
But you manage that. What the easiest way to do it is when you set them up. Maybe you tell them, okay, you can use it for a while, and when you set them up, you can actually put the expiration date, like I did for all of you.
Yeah.
And they have it for a month, and then it expires, and then you get the account back, right? So
Okay.
Yeah. That's
so
good.
if there's a limitation of 25 accounts, it actually means 25 active accounts. All right. So you could have. I'm going to discuss this with Janelle, but there's the way we get charged for the accounts also is active accounts, meaning people using them actively every month. So I actually believe we could have, like, you could go through your whole year with your students on here, and then if they weren't going to use it like all the time, I would say leave them in there, and you guys could have new ones and not count them against your you're 25, so they could stay on there. I'm really pushing to build up these communities. So I want the alumni to just stay in there and be able to access things and keep going. So we'll see how that works. But I'm excited about that too.
So what you mean by that is they'd be able to stay on once they've paid for their school. They just be able to stay in and add comments or come back, jump back in and review. Okay.
So again, that's not written in stone. I have to check with her on that. That's another one of Dave's ideas, right? So we'll see, but that's what we're headed toward. Other questions?
Question regarding that, because we have sometimes we'll have students, and this might be just specific to us, but sometimes we'll have students that are really gung-ho and they want to do 2 and 3 sessions a week, and we do it in a 6-week session. We do every section every 6 weeks. We flip over to a new one. So how do we not hold them back? See what I'm saying? Would we customize something just for them?
You could. I personally, and again, Janelle is the teacher. She can really answer those questions a lot better than me. My initial reaction would be maybe, like, let's say you gave them access to course 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, let's just say, right? And those are the ones that everybody's going through. Given that you have access to hundreds, literally, and it will be hundreds and hundreds as we continue to build on this thing, you could maybe assign them other courses in that same kind of area to do during those 6 weeks, and you just enroll them in those, and they can go into those as well. So they can go as deep as you want. The whole power of this system is, you could assign them the whole catalog, right? So you can manage what they see. That's the whole point of it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, got that expiration date on it might be helpful. Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be good too. So I have you guys set to all expire at the end of April. You could do that with students as well. Now, one of the other things you could do, because you're offline, now I know a lot of schools also are not maybe active all year. Well, if you have rising students, you have first years going into second years, you could assign them courses to do over the summer. They definitely do that at BSSM, but that's the power. We really want and are going to be gearing up, and I'll talk more about that at the end of the month, but we're really going to be gearing up to really add value to every time period. So we know there's a lot of schools that have summers off. Well, we're going to be throwing value at summers. Again, that's one of my ideas I don't want to talk about right now, but we're going to load this thing. So you might see more speakers in the summer, more live information. You guys also, so a student might not necessarily in your off time or even when you're having school, doesn't have to necessarily be a student. You can manage this. So if someone, let's say if you're associated with your church and you want to give one of your leaders access to see some of the Bible courses or something for a few months, why not? And during the summer, maybe you could organize a course for people that are potential students or want to see it a little bit. You could open it up for that and use it to market your school as well. Other questions?
I have another one. We have been using the DVD series, so we kind of have an idea of what the flow usually looks like. But for people coming in brand new, do you have suggested schedules for them to look at of what's usually covered in year one, that kind of thing?
Well, Janelle is, I think, working in the next few months of creating these learning plans, and we're going to have sample curriculum plans like that. Well, where we'll gather some of them, and so it'll be that kind of suggested thing. So yes, we will be.
And it was almost overwhelming to me. There was so much. I was like, how do you ever decide where to start if you don't know anything?
And that's a good feeling. We want you to have that feeling. We would much rather have that than, oh, there's only a few things here, right? So if you can imagine, starting over the summer and next year, we have access to all of the BSSM stuff that's going on. We have access to, all the Bethel TV stuff. We're going to be adding stuff all the time. And really, as a full-time big school, the more that you guys tell us that you need, we can go get it and have it ready for you. So we're really excited about that. We want to, our whole mission in this program is to totally energize and equip the schools, and because you guys are the ones that send the students and you're live. Oh, I thought of kind of a, maybe a too creative thing with Zoom as well. But I've thought here about we have revival group pastors, right? So you have your leaders and teachers. And when we activate and send students out on the streets or even on missions, like they're all going on missions this week, you could actually Zoom with a phone and be in contact with your teachers or other organizations, or let's say like one part of your school is going out in the streets and another part is in the classroom or doing something else. You could Zoom them together. And I mean, it's just, I love just thinking about the different possibilities.
So you're actually thinking the same thing I was going to ask you. That's so prophetic. But what I was going to say is, like, for example, if our pastor is on a missions trip in, say, Panama, and he would like to connect with us and say, hey, live in Panama, you know, BSSM, I mean, so that's possible?
You do it on Zoom. It works just as well on a phone as it does on a computer.
Cool.
You can have one of his assistants that's with him, or a student or something, be recording the whole thing. Because of the time zone difference, maybe you don't have it live back there or that many people live, but you've recorded it. So now you can post it as one of your classes to see in the future. I've actually thought of, you know, our pastors are always gone all over the world. I mean, we have hundreds, and to just view their schedule is crazy. But I've thought, as they go, like I was in healing rooms and we went to Europe and Asia and different things. But I thought, like, for example, we went to French-speaking Switzerland. Wouldn't it be cool to tape that? Because you now see the translator. So you would now immediately have a course available in that other language ready if someone needed it too. Now that would be, you know, maybe not helpful to your particular school, but I think we could do that easier than, you know, translating the whole course and getting it going. But just a thought.
That's awesome.
I have another Zoom question. You said that it comes with the plan, right?
Yes.
Okay. So is everybody have a full Zoom subscription? I mean, they could use it personally too, or just associated with the school?
So you should have received an email from Zoom to sign you up.
Right.
Did anyone not get that email?
But do the students, when we sign them up, do they receive?
No, you get one account per full school.
Okay,
Right.
that's my question. Okay.
Yeah, it costs us money, so we can only give one of those away. We might be able to say, for the cost of it, give you additional accounts, but understand that it's the way to host a meeting.
Right.
Right. So as long as, so for those that are in the licensing community and legal eagles, just ignore this next part. But let's just say you had one per school and you're using it today and you needed the students to get on, or one of your student leaders to use a Zoom meeting tomorrow. You're in charge of who has access to your Zoom account, right? Let's just say it that way.
Okay.
Now, I do want to tell you also, though, on this free trial for April, you are on the basic account, which is, the only limitation is if you get multiple people, like I have 8 people here. So if you do one-on-one to someone else during this time period, it's unlimited. You do whatever you want. As soon as you get 2 or more, you're limited to 40 minutes and it actually cuts off. But as soon as you actually purchase package 3, and again, package 2 and 1 with just school leader training or the single teacher, do not get a Zoom license included. Right, but as soon as you purchase package 3, we upgrade you to the full access, and that includes 100 people at once, the recording, all of this stuff, which I just love Zoom. We're actually doing, so I did notice when we registered everybody, I don't know if it's any of you, but a different department Well, there's two different things going on right now, leadership training and pastors training, and they're using Zoom around the world to start to build this. So I really believe Bethel is headed more into this type of training. So they have groups of, I think they tried to do 10 or less global leaders, and then they have senior leaders training them every week using Zoom. So it's really, we did a lot of research before we selected Zoom as the tool. I think it's the very best one, not only cost-wise, but also the way it works on the network. And they're a really good company. So I'm really excited about that too. Other questions?
I just have a comment. We learned about the Edge at the Converge when we were there in February. And just looking at it over the past weekend, I am just really impressed. I've already accessed a lot of the videos and materials. I can already see how, I was planning my school now, so I'm already seeing how that's going to maybe take place to be able to get more discussion time and more activation time in the school itself instead of watching videos all the time.
Yeah.
So, which is not bad. I've gleaned so much over the past 3 years in the school that I've been in, that to be able to incorporate more discussion and activation. So it just really, I'm really impressed with that.
I think it was Debbie too that asked about what if you wanted an accelerated student. I think not only the power to kind of expand the time frame that you're available to hold class is a very powerful tool with this, but also that you can customize it. So let's say you had, 3 students or 4 students in a group that are going through the school, but you had 2 or 3 that can't do the school physically for some reason, or you wanted maybe a leader in your church or a pastor or somebody that wants some training. They get access. They can be on there at the same time that your students are. It's a system. It's available. It's a web platform. So, that you could customize. You could give them access to the whole catalog if you wanted. So, it really is a ton of information. I actually, after 3 years in BSSM, each year it's a blur. There's so much. But to be able to go back and review some things sometime, I think is very helpful too.
Yeah.
I have a question. This regarding everybody is talking, but in terms of cost, and I know you said Jeanette, and I've played with the system as well when I got the email last week. But is there like a standard cost that everybody chooses? I think Debbie said she does hers on a 6-week kind of rotating thing, 6 weeks in and start 6 weeks. So is there a particular like price, even if Debbie, you answered that, but it's for anybody that you found is pretty good based upon how you do your school?
This is my favorite question, so I'm going to let someone else answer that one. Who wants to answer?
I can help. Just tell you, we inherited the school about 4 years ago and took it over little by little. And so what we do, Harold and others, is we do every 6 weeks, we rotate into a new section. So we run it like a regular school calendar. We have Christmas break, spring break, we do it so people can actually be with their kids. And then we have a first year, second year, third year. I know it doesn't make sense to you, but that's how we do it. And so for our first year, if they join in September or August, they would start in September and they would run through the end of May, 1st of June, and they would do 6 whole sections. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Of your curriculum. And then in summertime, they could possibly make up some sessions, or if they've already paid for them, they're allowed to watch them, check them out, whatever. And then starting the next September, they would do 7 through 12, 13, whatever it is. I can't even add right now. It's too early. We're on your time. We're used to being in Virginia. So yeah. Anyway, I say all this to say that it really works well because the people that are really committed, Harold, they really want to stick with it. They do. They want to come back. They can't wait. The only caveat is occasionally you'll get somebody in, say, January that wants to start. And so then you have to say, well, we've already been going since September. You're more than welcome to jump in, but you won't be considered a full first year until you finish up this other curriculum. So we encourage them to either A, go back in the beginning of the fall for the following year, or they can put extra work on us, which we're excited about this now, and get extra copies. We pay, let them pay, and then we give them the DVDs and they watch it on their own and they bring it back to us, which really isn't effective because they don't have a teacher kind of helping them. They're just watching it. So I like this. I love this because it's going to be a lot easier for me and my husband because he's constantly copying all the DVDs and making sure they get the copies. And then it just causes extra work. You know what I'm saying, Dave? You're already flowing. You got your own students, and then you got somebody jumping in. So there's always going to be some kind of creative way to help people. But I say that with all sincerity. You got to find out how committed they are. Because a lot of people will come in and they'll say, oh, I'm all ready. They'll show up for 2 sessions and you don't see them again. And they pay. And so I get a little frustrated because I'm a teacher by trade. Many years. I'm like, wait a minute. Now you signed up for this class. I'm not trying to force you in, but commitment has to be there. You want to add to that, David?
I think
I think Harold had something.
Oh, go ahead, Harold.
Cost.
Yeah, your cost. What do you charge your students?
Oh, sorry. Okay, so this is our pastor created this, and I like the idea. If they're single, they get a single person, just one person they charge them $30. We're really cheap, I think. $30 for 6 weeks.
Okay, 30.
If you're a couple, it's $50. Okay, now that's just for the PDF. They get a PDF file, and that's their tuition, so to speak. If they want the book, then we've been ordering them through Bethel, and they have to pay 2 weeks in advance because we have to order from you guys on the West Coast to get them on East Coast, and then we get a physical book for them, and they do not get that physical book until they have paid me. So if they miss the 2-week deadline, so sorry, Sam, but you're going to get a PDF file this time, copy of your own, because it's just too much work, and I have to do it. And they've been cooperative, but I have some that wait till the day of class. Oh, I didn't get my book. Well, you didn't order it 2 weeks ago, and I have a 2-week window. So I give them plenty of time because it takes us at least a week and a half to get our books.
Are you still going to use the books with the new system?
Ma'am?
Are you still going to use the books with this new system?
It's really weird. I have a lot of people that want that book. They want to be able to quickly write in it. I don't know. This is also new. I'm
not going to fit, all the others. It's only going to be for the DVDs.
Say that again.
The book will only still match the DVDs. It won't match all the new curriculum.
Oh, right.
Also, when you go on the site and you print out the learning material, it's basically the same thing that's in the book.
Okay.
Are you talking about the manual?
Yeah.
Oh, she's actually, so each of the summary notes are actually condensed versions of the manuals for the courses. Right. And each course that we put out has one of those. In addition, she's working on, you'll see in the school training area, there's a toolkit, and she's building that. I don't know the exact details, but she's building it out to be more like the big administrative manual. Harold, to your question about cost, there's actually, because I went through the school planting track, there's actually, I'm sorry?
It's Howard.
Howard, I'm sorry.
Howard.
It says H-A-R-O, so sorry about that. Yeah. Howard. There's
H, they got that.
H. Roberts, yeah.
So going through school planning track, which is a whole year-long course, we went through whole different sections on how to figure out the cost and that whole thing. There's a whole workshop for that. I'll see if I can find the particular ones on the system that help with how to plan for your costs and those kinds of things.
Okay.
But I think the best thing is right here is talking with these guys and just get different ideas. One of my favorite things about the teacher community like this, and this is one of the things I'm going to be talking to Janelle about, is I want to build kind of a boot camp for new teachers, and they would have access maybe once a month. We get a bunch of veteran teachers together, and then the new ones come on and they can ask them all kinds of questions, and Janelle's on there too, just to help out. Yeah. There's tons in the, so you guys know the DVD series from having the DVDs before, right? So we're going beyond that, and all the school leader training is stuff that was in the manual, but all the Converge conference information and the chats is all in there. And I think she's building out a little bit more of a way to how to find things in there and look at that too. But very much very helpful for Howard and anybody else coming up to speed.
Hey, David, it looks like then I would be able to not just put videos in there, but other assignments, because I was going to have them read one book every month. I could put the book report on there and then just have them fill out the book report, and then it comes to me where I don't even have to have a physical copy. I can have an electronic copy.
Yes. And actually the one in there that says assignment, the type of training material that says assignment, they can actually upload a report too. So in my personal view, I would just organize it like a test, and they fill in answers to questions on a book report, or make one big box that they can put it in if you want to. And then totally you can go in and even answer, evaluate and do the other things and respond back to them directly. So no paper. Yep. And that way also it helps with check marking when things came in, and that it's complete, and all those kinds of things are built into the system for you.
Yeah. What about scripture reading? Could you use it that way? Because again, I was just trying to, I could see how I could do the book report one, but how would you do to see, that they check off that they've read the scripture or whatever?
Well, I would do two things. I would make a course, and in the course maybe have a download file that has the schedule of what verses you want them to go through, or chapters or whatever. But I wouldn't stop there. If you'll notice, like Bernie's courses in here in the Bible series, when you look at the review questions for those courses, they are tough answered questions about the material. It's not like, what was the guy's name that he saw along the road? It's like depth of questions. So I would create the schedule of the areas you want them to read, and then have with it alongside in the course, like you see our review questions, make tests for each chapter, and make it an in-depth question. Make it not, a simple thing. Make them really think, and then post something so they really get thinking about that. And then you could review it when you get back into class. And that's so much more powerful than, spending the time in class. Okay, we're going to review this chapter. Let's read this. Okay, what do you guys think about this? It gives them time to chew it over. And if they've done the assignment and then they come into class, you can start assuming they have already done it, and you can actually check if they did it. They've already been thinking about it because of your review question, and you go right into the level of training in the classroom of kind of the third step that I call. They heard it, they really are processing it, now they really need to learn it. And that's when you really get into discussion on questions. That's what I would do. But
another question. Thank you for that. And basically, I asked it before, but I'm just that anal. And it may be for Debbie, for others. When do you meet? Do you meet twice a week, once a week? I'm not gonna, because I need a starting place mentally. That's kind of how I flow.
Okay.
So.
Okay. I can, if you want to share your email with me, I can share you a mock email that I was to my students. The ones we do an interest survey at the beginning of summer, and in the middle of summer we announce it in our church quite a bit. And we do okay, if you want to sign up, here's how you do it. And so I send an interest survey out to everybody that says they're ready. Then they reply back to me and they say, yes, I want to join, whether they're third-year student or whatever. And then we start collecting money right away. So I can send you that if you want to send me your email at the end of this.
Okay.
And then, does that answer your question?
Yeah, and then and in the email, I just ask you again in terms of what day you guys.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Right, I forgot that part. We meet every Tuesday night. It works best for our region. We tried one year doing Tuesday and then once a month Saturday, but it did not work out. Everybody has kids in our area. They have school sports schedule. They needed that downtime, so now we're doing once a week. Now, however, we do once a month outreaches.
Gotcha.
And we also we get involved in the community we have several pastors in our area that have like Saturday get-togethers for the homeless. They feed the homeless. We have bi-monthly events. So we get involved in a lot of community stuff. We don't do just the school.
Gotcha.
We also created, I don't want to take too much time, but we also added a little extra piece of where we do prophetic time at the beginning of every class. So for people that get in late, they kind of miss it. But if they come on time from like 6:30 to 7 o'clock, we'll do prophetic time. And it's just teaching the students from the beginning how to prophesy before they go into their classes. So it's a really expanded model this year, but it's really, they love it. They come back, they get encouraged. They, you know, even if they mess up, you know, if they get it wrong, it's okay. We say it's okay. You know, you didn't get it right. Nobody's perfect, but we teach them to learn to prophesy in little simple activities that we get from Chris and Dano McCullum. He has really good stuff. So yeah, we use Chris's and Dano's stuff for everything, for all the prophecy.
One of my favorite things also, just to keep hyping on Zoom, but I really do think not just the tool, but the possibility of the expansion into the schools is so powerful. But you could now easily find the other schools in your area or even out of your area. And maybe once every semester have a guest speaker on Zoom from another school and talk about things. So now you're kind of expanding your faculty by doing that. Maybe you have 2 or 3 in a semester, so that frees up your faculty a little bit. Plus maybe there's a specialty of maybe in your church even, your head pastor has a particular specialty, but he's never available. So you could actually tape that ahead of time and use it as a course. I mean, really just, this is moving the physical schools into the digital age, I believe.
How do I get my information to Debbie, since we're kind of seeing each other on this apparatus? How do I get my information to her?
You want to write it down now? I'm fine.
All right, I want to write it down.
You see my screen name, Debbie Holcomb?
No, the Holcomb is cut off. Spell Holcomb. I see Debbie.
Oh, HALLCOM. And then at gmail.com. Make sure it's Debbie with a Y though.
Okay, Debbie with a Y. Okay, gotcha.
So this whole exchange and helping out him, I think, is part of the power of the community area. So what I want to build over time is he could ask these types of questions in the school teacher community area and get answers from all of you and probably get 20 answers, right?
Yeah.
Very powerful.
Yeah.
This is great.
Okay, I do want to let you guys know we're going to have another series like this toward the end of the month, and it will, do not hesitate on that little help button to ask questions about the system or any of these types of questions, or even you're having trouble doing a particular thing. Try to go through, do me one favor, since there are hundreds of you and one of me, do go through the tutorials before you get too many questions. But go ahead and start using the communities, all of those things. And toward the end of the month, we'll be having another series like this. I encourage you guys to come in. And we're going to probably have some of those ideas that I've been talking about kind of tongue-in-cheek. We'll maybe have some of those that we're going to be able to present for what's happening toward the summer. Okay, anything else? Let me see. Zoom account free limitations. Okay, so just summary real quick. We did a system tour. You learned how to get around on the system. You learned about the different buttons and how to see what's coming, and help screens, tutorials, how to search for a course. You learned what is a learning plan and even how to create one. You learned about communities. In the teacher area, you learned how to create an account. Or that you can create an account, that you can create a course, you can enroll students. We learned a lot about Zoom. We learned that there's a limitation to the current account until the free trial is over. By the way, just one other note, it's my intention to have at least once a month, even after the trial and we're all going, once a month, these kinds of open meetings to ask questions about the system. So I really, support is going to be our thing. Okay?
That's great.
All right. Everybody have a great day.
Thank you. Good to meet everybody.
You
We'll know next time not to be in our pajamas.
Or you can. That's the fun, right?
Surprise!
I won't show you what I'm wearing, you know. All right. Goodbye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.